Okay, now cash flows from financing activities. Remember, this is what deals with long-term liabilities and stockholders' equity. So we're looking at changes mainly down here in the equity section and in these long-term liability sections. So you can see we have a change in my dividends payable of $4,000 we need to account for. What happened with actual cash? We have a change in our bonds payable of $50,000, a decrease of $50,000. We need to figure out what that did to cash. And then also we had some changes here, common stock, paid in capital in excess. And we need to figure out what happened with actual cash there. So first, the bonds payable. Bonds payable went from $150,000 to $100,000. Generally speaking, this is going to be a cash outflow for paying bonds off. They tell us specifically that it decreased by $50,000 because they retired bonds. So we have a cash outflow for retiring bonds of $50,000. So negative $50,000 for the cash outflow aspect of this. And then it also goes next and says common stock account rental increased by $8,000 and the paid in par common stock increased by $40,000. This would be because they issued more shares of common stock. So they issued 4,000 shares of stock at $12 per share. So the total cash, this would be total cash inflow for they issued 4,000 shares at $12 per share. So cash inflow from selling stock, issuing stock of $48,000. Then we have dividends and dividends payable. This part you might have to calculate a little bit because we're actually dealing with two accounts here. So the dividends themselves, which are right. I don't have dividends on this particular one. So the dividends account went from a dividends payable account went from $10,000 to $14,000, which means that they declared a dividend. They declared a dividend in total for at least that amount. Okay, so we have dividends, some that were paid and some that were declared. We have the detail of the account shown on page 621. You can see the balance started at $10,000. They paid $10,000 worth of dividends. They declared two different times $14,000 worth of dividends for a total of 28, and then they paid one of those two declared dividends, and that gives us our balance of 14,000. So effectively, what that means is that in cash they paid $10,000, and then they paid $14,000 in dividends. Okay, two separate times. And then it also means that the increase in dividends payable shows our decrease of $4,000. The way that I look at this rather than that, since I have the actual detail, I can just look at what cash was actually paid, and I can tell by looking at this, the cash paid literally says cash paid on January 10th and on July 10th. So what I know is that now that I have a cash outflow for dividends for a total of $24,000, a total of those two. So my total cash flow from financing activities is the sum of these three, what should be a total cash. Oh wait, I have this one backwards. This is a negative number. Sorry, this is the only cash inflow. Cash outflows are negative. So a total of negative $26,000, or a cash outflow from financing activities of $26,000 in total.